I'm Dietmar Hildebrand. I've been, maybe call it a custodian of this land for 22 years and hopefully for a few more years.
I'm Susanne Hildebrand, and I'm proud of what I have achieved here and how this land has come back to life.
So we bought this place here in 2001. The first debate we had when we spoke about how do we revegetate, I had the idea we should plant some conifers. And actually Susanne said, not over my dead body. Conifers belong to a German cemetery and not on a rural property here.
I don't know. I had the idea, oh, let's transform it and then only go into Australian native plants and indigenous plants. And
we had this determination. The land was it was so barren and degraded, weed infested. The land was screaming at us. It was clear to both of us we want to do something about it. It was 13 years of drought, the most horrendous drought Australia probably has seen. And it wasn't easy, but yes, being German and stubborn maybe helped a little bit. So we kept on going. And
we learned from the land itself that what is doing well, and we've done our own research because every spot in Australia has a different soil, has different climate pockets, and
we had also people coming, giving us some advice. Good friend Ian Taylor, Western Plains Flora, he's a great specialist, so he's been very helpful. Hume Council has given us some advice. But despite all the good advice, every property is different, every situation is different, and even an indigenous native plant that might belong in the area, if it's planted in the wrong location or at the wrong time of the year, it won't thrive. So we learned, for example, blackwoods do not belong on dry slopes. They belong into other areas. And we learned, other plants, the golden wattles, are great for steeper slopes. They, very quickly self-seed, and that's the ultimate goal. The sustainability in self-seeding is the ultimate goal. Our block is adjacent to what's known as the Sunbury Rock Festival site. And a funny story, when we started planting here, we didn't know it was Sunbury Rock Festival site. And in many spots where we dug a hole to plant a tree, we found these ring pools here. And when I looked at them, I thought, my goodness, this farmer here has been a huge drinker. And then one day we saw a documentary on ABC about the Sunbury Rock Festival, Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs and Deep Purple and all these famous singers. And Susanne said to me, but that's our property. And I said, no. I said, yeah. It's our property, and you saw these thousands of people and the hippies and whatever having a great time, and it was our property. And so then we felt a bit more attached to it and felt the history and the legacy to it. So what we got here is the stage of the old Sunbury Rock Festival. The fence around it is still the original fence. Some clematis is now growing up, blossoming in bright yellow when it's ready to blossom. But that's where it all happened, and people still congregate every year on the long Australia Day weekend to
remember the time.
Remember the good old days when they were young and hippies. And actually the biggest area where the Sunbury Rock Festival took place is council land, and it was as badly degraded as our property was. And just a little bit of nice remnant vegetation along the Jackson's Creek. And we thought it would be really nice if we could connect that remnant vegetation of Jackson's Creek to our property and make it a wildlife corridor and make it something much bigger. So when we had a bit of spare time and some spare plants, we started planting. And Ian with his nursery thought it would be a great idea, and he donated plants, and we planted. And after a few years, a representative from Council came for inspection. He said, but you cannot just go on public land and just plant, that's not right. It's commendable, but, we need to work on a strategic plan, and that will take time, take a few years, and only then maybe we can work together. And I thought, look, what we're doing here is actually with really good scientific advice from Ian. It's indigenous native plants. It can't be wrong. So I thought, keep on planting. And next time Council came, they looked at it and they said, this looks good, and it's actually exactly in line with our plan that we have now in place. We still had a little bit of native grasses left, such as this, reddish grass. I don't know the scientific names, or this native grass here. And so by spraying out those weedy grasses, tussock and Chilean needlegrass, we made space for native grasses, and the patch started small, started growing and growing, and now I'm really proud that we got a big patch going all the way up there and up to this area there. Further, still Chilean needlegrass, which for now we ignore until we have really this area here under control.
It feels wonderful that all these plants have grown, and they are now self-seeding, and it is from the bare land it was when we bought the property, now like a park, like a retreat, and seeing life coming back to the property with lots of birds, lots of lizards, and we have the shinglebacks, and it's so nice to see.
All the effort we've put into the land, we got back in a positive way many times over. So many different parrots and honey eaters, and you can hear them in the background right now. It is just, and every week I hear different birds singing, and I haven't heard that before, so it's coming back. We now have some really big patches of native grasses, and we're helping them to grow bigger and bigger by controlling the weeds around those patches. And hopefully one day most of the property will be covered with native grasses and ground covers, and maybe even wildflowers.
And I think the most important thing is now to spread also this story to others, and to promote sustainable living